Hello out there, everyone. Today we're going to take a quick look at Brawl in Cell Block 99, a film written and directed by Craig Zoller, and of course starring Vince Vaughn, Don Johnson, and Jennifer Carpenter. And I would just like to point out that this movie is, of course, one of three films written and directed by Zoller. His other two are Bone Tomahawk and Dragged Across Concrete, and I would probably put the ranking in that order. So Bone Tomahawk is his best, Dragged Across Concrete his next best, and then Brawl and Cell Block 99 his third best. And I would just like to point out as well that all three are excellent films. This is a movie that absolutely harkens back to an era of like Charles Bronson, 70s exploitation cinema. It seems almost, Larry Cohen-esque, but with a more serious and earnest approach to it. It's definitely keeping its comedy close to its best. It's not over the top. It's not cheesy. It's hard hitting. And I think mostly what I would say about the film is the way it just unfolds is so sure-footed. I think that is largely due to the writing of the characters and what they say and how they are basically acting in the scenes. It's just a really well done movie. Now, I will concede that there is a little bit of suspension of disbelief that you really have to kind of give over to the movie toward the third act, especially because, it's definitely one of those movies that just gets progressively more violent to the point where at the end, even, someone like myself, who is certainly no prude when it comes to violence, I like Cronenberg and, all that squishy body horror, but I would just say that this film is really violent, especially toward the last 30 minutes. And I would argue that perhaps he could have dialed it back a little bit. I think that the same point could have been made without, just going to that length. I just feel like it takes away from the narrative a little bit. But having said all that, I will just, again, give this film, high praise. It's really a nice way to spend a couple of hours. Obviously, the characters are not particularly nice nor friendly, and even though Vince Vaughn, who is sort of an anti-hero, has some, muted charisma, and he does a good job at sort of playing a man with a code, the time that you spend with these characters, it sort of takes you down a pretty dark place, and if you're maybe not in the best of spirits, I would say maybe wait to see this movie because it's a bit of a downer, but it's good. It's very well executed and made. And this standard def DVD, I would just like to point out, is certainly fine. I know that it's available on 4K, but I had no trouble with the PQ and the AQ. It's meant to be kind of a gritty grindhouse movie, so I'm not exactly sure even if 4K crispy wouldn't be sort of incongruous, so to speak, with the subject matter. I mean, this is definitely a 70s grindhouse film. And as you can see on the back, I believe this particular release has, I want to say it has a couple of special features, but don't quote me on that. It's certainly more of a lean and mean release, and this was one that I think I picked up. It was unopened, but it was sitting on a bargain bin, and I think that it's, a movie that was arguably criminally overlooked during its initial release. I think it's a movie that has gone on to garner a bit of a cult following, but even if you're not necessarily into cult cinema, I think you could definitely give this a watch and appreciate just the sharp literacy of Craig Zoller as a screenplay writer and his, quite frankly, impressive confidence behind the lens and, directing the proceedings. I think it's a really good film. So on that note, I will just leave it at that. Definitely give it a shot. I think you'll be entertained. And, if you're looking to get it on your shelf, even this DVD, I think will do the trick. I'm not sure that you need a 4K Blu-ray on this piece of grindhouse cinema. So on that note, take care, be kind, stay safe, and by all means, keep watching good cinema.